So for unit 7c, we need to define a polynomial function given its zeros. So a polynomial is just many terms put together with it, terms with additions and subtractions in between. And zeros, another name for a zero is an x-intercept, or a root you might have heard of, or a solution. So we're going to look at, these are zeros, so those are x-intercepts. So it's like x equals 1, x equals 0, and x equals 4. What we're going to have to do, each one of these x-intercepts, these zeros, is we're going to have to make them equal 0. So right now this one equals 1. So how do I make this equal 0? I just subtract 1. These are not like terms, but that's okay. X minus 1, we just put them next to each other, and 1 minus 1 is 0. Good. Here's one of your factors of the polynomial. Another factor, so this x equals 0 already equals 0, so your other factor is x. So one of our factors is x, one of our factors is x minus 1, and hopefully by now you're looking at x equals 4 and you can figure out what the factor for that is. So to make it equal 0, subtract 4, you get x minus 4 equals 0. Here's your other factor. So now we're going to put all these factors together, and I join it with just a y. Y equals, I'm just going to put the monomial first, so x times x minus 1 times x minus 4. So for 7b, this is your answer. But for 7c, we need a polynomial, so we need to multiply these factors out. So you're going to take two factors at a time and multiply them. So I'm going to just take the first two. So to multiply a monomial times a binomial, this is just distributing. So it's y equals, to be a function it has to be y equals, that's why I have y equals. X times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is negative x. And now that's, I'm going to put that together in parentheses since it's a binomial. Now I'm going to take that binomial and multiply by the second binomial. So we have x squared times x. First we have the y equals. X squared times x is x cubed. X squared times negative 4 is negative 4x squared. Negative x times x is negative x squared. Negative x times negative 4 is 4x. Looking at your like terms, there's only one term with an x or a cube. Two terms here, negative 4, I have negative 4x squared, and I'm subtracting 1 more x squared. So it's a negative 5x squared, and then plus 4x. So this is the polynomial function. If you were to graph this, it'll cross the x-axis 3 times at, the first one is, it'll cross at 0, 1, and 4. So you're more than welcome to try that out. Next, polynomial function for given zeros. Again, same exact directions, but now we have something a little different. We have fractions. We're going to do the exact same thing though. Set each fraction equal to x. So x equals 1/5, x equals 2, and x equals negative 2/5. So first one, what I like to do is, this is 1 divided by 5. Opposite of divided by is multiply, so we can multiply by 5. So you have 5x equals, those will cancel out then, 1. Still don't have it equals 0, so if it equals 0, you subtract 1. So we have 5x minus 1 equals 0. Now we have the factor equal to 0. So 5x minus 1 is one of your factors. And x equals 2, to make that equal 0, easiest way is just subtract 2. And there's another factor, so x minus 2 is a factor. And the last one, again it's a fraction, so I multiply by the denominator, divide by 5, so you multiply by 5. Negative 2 and we're going to add 2, opposite. And here's your last factor. So we have y equals 5x minus 1 times x minus 2 times 5x plus 2. So here, this is 7b, the factored form of the polynomial, but for 7c we have to multiply this out. So again, to multiply it out, you take 2 factors, doesn't matter which 2, you multiply it out first. So 5x times x, 5x squared, 5x times negative 2. You can do this with the Punnett Square if you want, but I'll just do this with FOIL. Negative 1 times x is negative x. Negative 1 times negative 2 is positive 2. And we're going to have to multiply that by the last binomial, the last factor. First, I'm going to put these two middle terms here together. Those are like terms. Makes it a lot easier if you simplify before multiplying out. So negative 10x minus 1x is negative 11x plus 2. 5x plus 2. Now we have a trinomial times a binomial. You can distribute the 5x times 5x, 5x times 2, negative 11x times 5, negative 11x times 2, 2 times 5x, and 2 times 2. You can do that. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do this with Punnett Square. So I'll show you that. So what we do, we're going to do three by 2, since it's 3 terms by 2 terms. And we're going to put, I forgot the square up here. We're going to have 5x squared on top of one of the boxes, negative 11x on top of another box, 2 on top of the last one is positive 2, so it's just a positive 2, 5x, and a positive 2. And what we're going to do is we're just going to multiply these out. So 5x squared times 5x is 25x cubed. I'm going to leave myself a lot of room here. And 5x times negative 11 is a negative 55x squared. 5x times 2 is 10x. 2 times 5x squared is 10x squared. 2 times a negative 11x is negative 22x. 2 times 2 is 4. When I do this, it actually makes it really nice to have like terms. You see, like terms are diagonal of each other. And so adding these up is going to be super easy. So we have 25x cubed. So y equals 25x cubed. Negative 55x squared plus 10x squared is a negative 45x squared. And then negative 22x plus 10x is a negative 12x. And then it's just a positive 4, so plus 4. And if you were to put this polynomial function into a calculator, you would get solutions of the zeros at the beginning. You would get negative 2 over 5, 2, and 1/5 is where it would cross the x-axis. So this is 7C. Thank you.